सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Hari Om. So today we are on page number 27 in my book, 29 in the new book. Chapter 3, Life of Self-Control, Brahmacharya. We will understand what is Brahmacharya. There is a popular meaning, what is commonly understood. And then we will see what Swami Chinmayananda has to say about this. He spoke about individuals who are evolvers rather than mere adapters, isn't it? That is a nice word that he's used in that paragraph just before where we begin today on Brahmacharya. Adapters, what happens? We do not have the kind of energy, the technique, the alertness, the awareness. And so at a lot of points, we are compromising with circumstance, ever struggling to adjust and readjust to the changing pattern of the challenges that he has already mentioned. But one who has control over his mind, his senses, only such a person has integrity and has this power over life and its happiness. So this integrity is an important, essential value, quality to have in ourselves, and we must build it up. This is where he says. And we can start from where we are, we begin, that's all. And begin from now, that's it. The moment we have realized, yes, this requires a change. Because we are supposed to be intelligent, and we are the only ones in creation, if you see, the only species that can bring about this change within ourselves. We can see that I have to adapt, I have to think differently, I have to transform, right? None of the other species have this kind of capacity. This faculty itself is not there. So we saw all of that. Today we will begin with life of self-control, Brahmacharya. Achievements in life cannot be made by mere willpower alone. After having developed the will to act and achieve, one must find the energy required within oneself, which can, when applied intelligently, produce results. When one has no control over the sense organs, one has no control over the world outside. Then one becomes a slave to it. Thereafter, dissipation of one's energies drains one dry until at last one's entire vital dynamic personality is blown out. What then would remain is but a carcass of the physical body, a mere biological body moving about with all its physiological activities, but with no personality in it at all to assert, to plan, to achieve. Neither can such a man's mind feel nor his intellect think. There is no dynamism in him at all. No scientist can ever serve such a society made up of such exhausted and empty men. No politician can save it. No economist can develop it. So do we see? I mean, it's it's common. Right? What do we do when we are a slave to the senses? See what kind of we may think it's a small weakness in me, but if it's not corrected, and like this, collectively, if everybody thinks this is a small weakness in me, in the collective, it makes a big impact. Like I heard one of some interview by a well-known politician. He was talking about the kind of people, this dynamism that is missing in, you know, we are not even enthusiastic about our lives. It's we are like, okay, whatever happened, oh, that happened, okay, theek hai. No, what do I do? So these group of men at Shivaji Park, like any other park, there groups of people in the evening meet to chit chat. So in that there was this 70-year-old sitting there, and in the group there was one young fellow who said, "Uncle, have you heard? India is launching a satellite into space, and it's fantastic. It's going to be great. With that, we will, reach great heights, new knowledge, and it's so wonderful that we are doing it as a country." Typically, Shivaji Park is dominated by Mauritians there. So this old man says, "काय उपयोग? क्या फायदा? क्या होगा इससे क्या होगा?" No enthusiasm. Then he said, "Arey kaka, no, this has happened. Did you hear? We won the cricket match." For everything, he kept saying, "हाँ ठीक है, काय उपयोग? काय उपयोग?" So this youngster was a little, what is happening? He's just, for everything, he has a standard reply. See, these people have lost all interest in life and enthusiasm. And if you have more than 50% of such people in the community, what only can you do? How much only can you develop? Kai upyog? We are going to this class, self-unfoldment. We want to understand that. Kai upyog kai? Some people are, क्या होगा? इतना सब करके भी क्या हुआ? कुछ नहीं. No dynamism left. Then this young person asked him. He said, "My God," he is like, "I can't win over him." He said, "How old are you, Kaka?" That time he became very interested because it came to him, no? Personal, that was. Suddenly there was a bright, guess, how much, how old I am? No, Kaka, I can't guess your age. I am 75, So he said, "Arey, you don't look 75. You are so pleased, so happy." Yes. You couldn't believe, no? I am 75, you see? You couldn't believe, no? You're very happy. That man looked at him, very young. I hope you. So what else do you do with them? The only thing that is me and mine. They're not interested in anything other than that. At least we shouldn't become like this. Many of you much younger now, keep up this dynamism of transforming yourself, because it is life energy is dynamic. Keep acting. Do not let the body rust, the mind rust, and just be, well, nothing is going to happen, nothing is going to change. We have to want to change, first of all. And this can happen only if we have some control over the sense organs. See, because right in the beginning, he says, if we do not have control over sense organs, one has no control over the world outside. This has to be underlined, huh? Because very often we want to control the situation outside without ourselves having any control over ourselves. Whenever we give in to our own senses and to our feelings and respond from there, we have no control over the world. We will see now. Therefore, conserve your energies, because willpower alone is not enough. We must have enough energy. This energy will bring about the necessary enthusiasm. And enthusiasm is a very sattvic quality. Sattvic people are always dynamic, enthusiastic, cheerful. They may face a lot of challenges and face defeats also, failures also. Don't think sattvic means you have to win. You may even have to face failures, but how you face them shows how sattvic you are. You're cheerful and you're, oh, I've learned my mistakes. Next time I'm going to do better. That's the spirit. So here, therefore, conserve your energies. Don't allow them to be dissipated through the sense organs as to make yourself a slave to the sense objects. This attitude of intelligent contact with the world outside from the flesh level is called brahmacharya. Did we know about this definition of brahmacharya? What is he saying? The attitude of intelligent contact with the world outside from the flesh level. What is flesh level? From the bodily level, from the physical level, what we call sthula sharira. And here is where we are experiencing the world, because the sense organs of perception with our eyes, skin and nose and tongue, we get to know the experience of the world. If we have no control over them, our experience is also going to suffer. But the moment we can control it, we enhance our experience. Every experience happens only through the sense organs of perception and sense organs of action. This we have seen, isn't it? Last time itself. So, this attitude of intelligent contact, because Bhagavan Krishna also says, Matra sparshe to kaunteya. It is only sparsha, the contact of the sense object with the sense organ creates a particular experience. And then we have our vasanas inside. We have our own knowledge, inclination. No? We have our own ambitions. We have our likes, dislikes. This meets the experience, and then something is recorded of this experience within us. So this is the whole mechanism. If we understand that, we must enhance, like I've always told, right? How do you use the telescope? You don't keep asking the planets to come to a position or the moon. That is impossible. You go to a place and place the telescope, start calibrating it until you reach a level where you can see with clarity. Keep changing the lens of the telescope, and then you can focus on that particular planet and say, now I have a clear vision. The vision is always internal. The telescope needs to be handled, not the external world. It's like that. we want to enhance our experience and create this for ourselves, we must have enough control. So brahmacharya at the mental level is impossible for a beginner. It is not so meant. It is a discipline to be lived only at the physical level. The physical entity in man longs for contact with the world of objects, for gaining sense satisfaction. The eyes wish to see beautiful forms and colors. The tongue craves for good food. The nose likes to smell pleasant fragrance, and so on. Thus, when the individual continues to live on seeking gratification of his sensual demands, his passions breed and swarm in legions which will ultimately mutilate and consume him. To avoid such self-afflicted ills, brahmacharya was prescribed as a discipline to be diligently lived at the physical level. So see, this must be somehow spoken of and seen that children from a very young age are able to bring about this kind of discipline in themselves. Not to allow for them to seek this gratification. When we are saying sensual pleasures, it has to do with sense organs. Meaning, it could be something with the ear, listening constantly to something, constantly liking to see some colors and being, looking after sizes and forms, or the tongue, any of it. When we engage in the pleasure of these senses, it's called sensual. So this could be a habit that we inculcate in a child from young age. Then they understand. In childhood and in adolescence is where they need these to conserve this energy the most. If they have learned that, if they have learned to control their senses, it becomes easy afterwards. But for children who are not this way controlled, then it becomes difficult later to control. So, and tongue, they say, is the last to be controlled. But for everyone, there is a weakness. That's why I remember, in childhood also, when food was served in the plate, and there would be something that I didn't like. Typically, karela, if it was served, or bengan, brinjal. This bitter gourd and this, maybe all children also have the same response to these vegetables. So whenever that was served, I would want to no, I'm not going to have it. But my father would sit next to me and say, you have to have whatever is served. What you do is, since you don't like it, eat that up quickly. You finish that first, then you go to whatever you like. And there was never any discussion about how is the food made. There was no comment also, allowed in front of children that there was salt less or it was very spicy, tikha, it could have been less. How was the food? Never, because that was not talked about. Maybe father always told mother later that you could have added salt or it should have been less. But it's always, they would understand in through actions or but they will never speak about it. So we were never told or asked our opinion about whatever food served, simply eat it, get up and go. This is to fill your stomach. This is to get energy. This is not for your tongue. This was very subconsciously taught to us, indirectly taught to us, not directly taught. So we have learned never to make a comment on it. So this is very subtle. Later, I realized what a blessing it was. that we don't complain about any food that is given to us. We are ready to eat. If we are hungry, we automatically like that food. Believe me, if you are hungry, you are ready to eat anything. You don't judge it at all. So it's like this, that if we are taught how to conserve this energy. So brahmacharya means living in self-control with respect to all our sense enjoyments, and does not mean there's total self-denial. The world of objects is meant for us to enjoy, and the scriptures do not deny us the freedom to enjoy. They merely advise us to be masters of our enjoyments and not allow them to dominate and enslave us. With a heart full of love, our preceptors cry out, enjoy the world, but let not the world enjoy you. You may eat food, let not the food eat you. You may drink, but let not the drink drink you. So relevant even today, isn't it? You enjoy the food. Okay? We were never told not to enjoy the food. My father would say, you like it? Have more of it. That was not denied. But if that Karela is given, you have to eat it too. So then we know, okay, take less of this, and we were given a little more. Not asking for it. We'll be served if you have seen you like it. Why? This is important. You may eat food, let not the food eat you. Unfortunately, today, what is the cause of sickness in people, especially in the urban areas? Food is eating them. They are eating all kinds of food that pleases the tongue, that may not be required by the body for energy. They are eating food and they are feeling sluggish after. They feel tired. A typical Sunday lunch or a lunch after marriage, how is it? I've eaten so much. Now, no, I just want a bed to sleep. This food that we eat, no, has to give us energy. But now what has happened? The food that we eat now is taking so much more energy from the body to digest it. That means the food is eating us. Our energy is being dissipated. Food that is taking away our energy must not be consumed. This basic problem is there with the world. We cannot let go. And more, of course, advertisers and media keeps it alive. Huh? We have given into it. बहुत बारिश हो रही, it's raining. Pakode at this time. Who doesn't? Okay, enjoy. Make that once every day it's raining. You don't need to have a pakode every day. And how much should you eat? Enjoy in that, so that it remains an enjoyment. So have one or two. Wow, very nice, but that is it. Let it not consume you. This line we must be able to draw, and that's what here Chinmayananda says is brahmacharya, moderation. The interpretation of the word brahmacharya has been so badly distorted that the real significance and value of this discipline seems to have been lost. It is popularly misunderstood to mean complete abstinence from sexual life. This is absurd. What the Mahatmas advise us is to abstain from excessive indulgence in any sensual pleasure. In short, to talk too much or to listen to radio all day would be breaking the vow of brahmacharya. Listening to the radio all day, no problem. I don't do it at all. I am self-controlled. But what happens is the mobile in the hand is constantly scrolling for something or the other. These days, that's the problem, isn't it? Giving into a habit, and this habit becomes an addiction very soon. So this moderation in any sensual pleasure is known as brahmacharya. We must understand. So, shouldn't we all be practicing brahmacharya? Or is it only for the sannyasis to do? This is meant for everybody. Oh, even a grahastha has to be. Yes, even a grahastha can be a brahmacharya. Because this is the definition. An unintelligent and abrupt denial of sensual pleasures and blind following of spiritual values results in suppression in an individual. And this suppression, when pursued for a period of time, leads the seeker to a sense of bitterness, frustration, and cynicism in life. If, however, one chooses the other alternative and continues indulgence in sensual pleasures, the senses being so strong and overpowering can pull him down the abyss of animalism, and any attempt thereafter to live a spiritual life will be futile. So we don't need both these extremes. Denying yourself in the name of some spiritual practice, and otherwise being excessively, see, sometimes I feel the animals have more control, when it comes to exercising their control over if you feed the dog. I'm talking of the ones who are in the out environment. I'm not talking of the pets. Unfortunately, humans, we have no control over our senses. I have seen many pets who are overgrown and obese these days because we feed them also. But if you see them in the wild, when they are full, even if that roti or biscuit is lying in front of them, they will stop. And when they are not feeling well, they will not eat. They go in search of herbs or grass that will help. When they chew that, what they will vomit it out. So they know that intelligence is there. And I've seen them doing that. When they are sick, they do not eat. But how about us? So doctor says, no, you're not well. Just go very light, your diet. Morning, have khichdi or something. And evening, just have some fruit or dalia or something like that. He has prescribed. So now this person asks him, when should I have this? Like it is between lunch and dinner, or it is between breakfast and... Huh? We can't give it up. How many times should I have it? So this is our problem. Huh? This, if it is inculcated within us, we understand the value of it. The religious masters arrived at a solution of the problem by prescribing an intelligent formula by which man could sublimate as opposed to suppress to a higher spiritual living. They held that physical indulgence might be well regulated, but not denied to the extent of causing suppression and sense frustration. Both need not be. What is happiness? Our firm belief today is that the joys we experience through our senses lie in the respective objects of the world. Consistent with this belief, we are constantly engaged in acquiring, possessing, and aggrandizing more and more wealth. But a little reflection shall reveal to us that acquisition and possession of wealth is no measure of the quantum of one's happiness. Again, if the joy is inherent in the sense object, then each object should provide the same quantum of joy to all those who come in contact. Obviously, this is far from the truth. For instance, a cigarette fills one with joy and satisfaction, while it drives another mad with annoyance. What then is the cause for the satisfaction of one and the annoyance of the other? This leads us to the fundamental question, what is happiness? On a careful analysis, we find that man's happiness is entirely a subjective phenomenon. For there seems to be a distinct and clear relationship between the state of mind and the joy or sorrow that is experienced by him. When the mind is agitated, sorrow is experienced, and when the mind is tranquil, there is joy. Happiness, therefore, is measured by the tranquility of one's own mind. See, you can mark these words and you underline, keep reflecting on it again, go back. When we ask somebody what it would mean to you, what will make you happy, what is happiness, we always have something of the world to say. Let my son get through that interview and no? Let my son's engagement go off well. Let my daughter be settled. Let her get this job. Let him get this visa. Let my whoever beloved's health be okay. Then I am happy. When we look deeply, why we are saying these things are unsettling us. That's why we are unhappy, isn't it? Which means if we are in a state of mind which is tranquil and peaceful, we should realize that that is it. And it should be independent of the circumstances around us, because circumstances keep changing. But the peace within us, we can build and retain. Man, the roof and crown of creation, has the unique capacity of quietening his mind without helplessly depending upon the objects around. He is unaware of this capacity, now dormant in him, and he foolishly tries to procure happiness through the objects of the world, which have only a false glitter of joy. They can give perishable as they are indeed, no enduring and everlasting satisfaction. This is our common experience, isn't it? We have longed for something. We go until the time we get it, we are agitated, we are not at peace. Then when we get it, we are at peace for some time. Joy. Even that joy is mixed, because we say, you don't know how much I struggled for this. There is dukkham there. I made real efforts and I finally. So it's not that complete satisfaction. And I know it's not going to last. I may be very happy today, but that I got that job and this is the company, this is the position, everything is perfect. The package is fantastic. This is much more than what I could have imagined. Okay, wonderful. Then you start going to work. Within a week, the environment is not as good as what I thought. That when the appointment letter came to my hand, the kind of happiness I had after 1 week, because now the travel is difficult, everything has started settling. That joy is gone. Then I'm already looking for the next joy to fill that gap because something is missing. I felt so happy last week. I'm not as happy now. Constantly this feeling of something is missing, something is lacking. And so we keep on seeking these experiences. So can I get this joy? So, I want to forget this, therefore I go for a music tour. I want to forget this, I'm going for a movie. Or I'm going to watch this game. I enjoyed. I went for that game and India won. Wow, very nice. Then next day there's no match happening. Now what am I doing? We become habituated to keep ourselves this way. We can't face ourselves without these objects. We are weakening us. We must know this. And we have the capacity to do this. Most of us don't know. That's why we run after external things. Isn't it? To the intelligent, discriminating student who has thus understood the reason and mechanism of the sensual urges. Brahmacharya is not a difficult discipline to practice. Brahmacharya is everything, and its insistence is only this: please never overdo anything. Even a student, when he is over reading and getting over anxious, it is against self control. Nowadays, we understand by brahmacharya only a very limited meaning. The term is much more wide in its implications. It suggests an intelligent, all-round self-control of vital forces in man. Brahmacharya recommends a steady curb on all expenditure of human vitality and energy caused by one's own thoughtless over-expenditure of energy, wastefully spent in sensuous gratification. Such an individual discovers in himself a new column of nascent energy, and he bursts with dynamism and exuberance. This way of life is called brahmacharya. So we shouldn't waste our energies all the time trying to please the mind and gratify it to whatever it is asking. Another misconception that's going on is we think freedom means we can do what we want. Ask anybody. As long as I am able to do whatever I want, I am happy. But actually, over a long period of time, you become a slave to this mind. If you're constantly giving in to everything that the mind is demanding, the mind is only seeking pleasures from the senses, from the eyes, the nose, the skin, the tongue, the ears. We must learn to put a stop. Is this required? Am I to engage in this? Am I to indulge in this? Don't always seek. Then we create a pattern in ourselves, when we are constantly this way, trying to engage and keep the mind occupied with something. Then you can never be quiet. Without an external object, you will never be happy. And we have this capacity. We can do it. Just remaining by yourself, remaining happy, independent of any other object, person, place in the world outside of. We have this capacity, but we do not know about it because we are wasting our vital energies. All the energies is being dissipated. Now we come to non-injury, ahimsa. A straight and dignified man, with his integrity sturdy and serene in both storm and sunshine, is sometimes noticed to decay, become weak, and even fall from his high pedestal of strength and glory. In the majority of cases, such falls are due to the negative fears that have stealthily laid their booby traps in the within. If we carefully analyze, it will be found that all of them have sprung forth from a lack of charity in us, a temporary incapacity to overlook some minor disappointment, or a failure to disregard some words or actions of others around. In a weak moment, off guard, any paltry happening can become a stupendous load on our mind, dragging this dead weight of worry and the consequent agitations. It is impossible for the man of integrity to maintain his poise and keep his earlier strides. We must set up a free flow of forgiveness from within us, so that in the rushing flood, we can flush out all our negative and suicidal disturbance. More than forgiveness, a man who is building himself up for the highest achievement must have the plentiful ability to forget the follies of others around him. the dishonesty of those who are working with him, and the vulgarities of the members of his team, all cannot have true inspiration. Even when they are inspired, all may not have the real efficiency in them or the constancy of purpose. Let us learn to forgive them. And if they continue to be bad, forget about them. The poet says, good to forgive, best to forget. Mentally don't injure others is the creed of ahimsa. The teachers of Hinduism commended this eternal value of life, ahimsa, to be lived at the mental level. Meaning, mentally never curse anyone, never wish harm to anyone. Ahimsa does not mean non-killing or non-injury at the physical level. It should not mean only that. Sometimes we may have to be cruel and injurious externally, even though the heart behind our actions is full of love and kindness. It is therefore to be understood as a mental attitude to our relationship with others in life. Shakespeare has beautifully expressed this idea in his Hamlet. I am cruel only to be kind. For example, a surgeon may appear cruel and bloody while performing surgery, but his heart means such actions, though physically hurting and causing pain, would fall under ahimsa. So it is the intention, it's the mental attitude. You might have to prick the leg where the thorn is pierced so that you can remove the thorn from the, like he says, the surgeon also does this. So, but physically he's performing, what is he doing? He's cutting a body and allowing the physical body to bleed also. But that is done with the intention of saving somebody's life. So this intention must always be correct. At the mental level, let us have some positive ideas, definitely, blessing everybody around us. Let our hearts flow out in love and kindness for all, wishing only the welfare of all. While thus serving the world in the spirit of non-violence, I may have to give a little pain to others, but it is only to bless them. The attitude of non-injury towards everyone is called the mental value of ahimsa. So this is required. This is important, to forgive. Forgive. Why? More to help yourself. Otherwise, if you're not able to forgive, what happens? A person who has said something wrong to you, has been rude to you, insulted you, hurt you, our mind tends to brood on that only. But if we can learn to forgive them, because they have done it, because that they thought was the best way to respond to whatever hurt them. This is only that they are showing where they come from. So let me learn. In understanding, I say, let me let go of this. This happens when you can forgive someone, so that you do not brood over. Like, one master said, how when we are angry, that anger itself is our punishment, he says. We shouldn't try and look at punishing an angry person. Anger that has risen in him already punishes, because nobody likes being angry. And it creates such a disturbance within the physical and the mental subtle bodies, isn't it? We don't like. So it's best to, learn to be able to sublimate these energies. Forgive and forget about it, meaning let go completely of that memory of that. Don't keep on brooding. Learn the lesson. In every experience like this, you will have something to learn. That person said this. how should I have behaved or what could I have done? That's a lesson to learn. So that's an experience you will keep in mind, but let go of that hurt and keep on, saying that person is this way, he is, insulting. Don't judge, don't hold on. But just be able to, easier, if you can just cut those cords, very easy. You're at peace. And then he did that to me, so therefore I want to take revenge. No, in my mind, let him face that difficulty, then he will know. Don't do that. Just, God bless him with the right attitude. God bless him with whatever learning he needs, And then when we say that, actually, you're able to release him from you altogether. Try that. Therefore, wherever you feel, try and keep blessing if you can. That helps you to completely let go. And imagine if in the collective, everyone is blessing. When you bless, you're actually, whether you like it or not, you're trying to get some good for that person. Let him be happy. Let him God fulfill his desires. So, and the universe works in the yes principle. So it gets affirmed that it would be very beautiful rather than holding grudges and cursing. It first of all affects you badly. Understand that. Such negative thinking. So Brahmacharya, Ahimsa, and Satyam are the three cornerstones upon which the edifice of the Hindu culture has been built from time immemorial. And all the books and volumes of philosophy are but expositions of the set of triple values: Brahmacharya, Ahimsa, and Satyam. Whenever these values are lived for a generation, whether at the individual level or at the communal level or at the national level, we shall certainly find there is a greater blaze of joy and peace, love and serenity in that society. In a community, if the members have no self-control, no brahmacharya at all, the community becomes wild. If they have no concept of non-injury, ahimsa, to the other communities, there will not be any peace between the communities in the world. If a community has no conviction of its own in its ideas and ideals, satyam, there cannot be any national purpose or cohesiveness in that community. So see, brahmacharya, ahimsa, and satyam, if these were to define the way when we say communal, it's a community, or the national collective is, we build a very, very, it's a superlative society that we have. Isn't it? And this is what the Indian civilization meant to the world. It was built on this. And another ancient civilization is the African civilization. It's gone into the decay. We only learn and talk about the Roman civilization. We talk of the European countries. It is not at all a civilization, if you see. Civilization is a community of people with civic consciousness, built on values. And these were the values. Brahmacharya, Ahimsa, Satyam, even today, has great value in our culture. But it's not so. You see the European, you see the Roman, full of fight all the time. Me and mine. They held such grudges as a society. They didn't allow, they were not tolerating any other way of school of thought. But this was not so with us. The Bharata culture, Hindu culture is very different. The generations that decide to understand and live these values, they, in their harmonious strength, become healthier. Not only to face tragedies of their own times, but healthier also to enjoy the peace and tranquility of their historical era. So now we go to efficiency, dexterity in action, yoga. Having developed the will, energy, and right attitude for action by the practice of Satyam, Brahmacharya, and Ahimsa, a person can still be a failure in life if he has not the efficiency to develop the talents and then to funnel out his available competency into the field of action. What is this efficiency? Isn't it beautiful that, in this book also is written in fundamental lessons for us as Brahmacharya, Ahimsa, and Satyam. Tell me, where else will you hear this? For the youth to cultivate, for the society to cultivate these values. Everywhere, wealth is what is promoted. Isn't it? Happiness in the external world is promoted. To grab it somehow or the other. This is why our heritage, we have inherited this very rich heritage. So he says competency. We must have this competency to develop the talents in ourselves. So let us see what is this efficiency. Nature is ever prompt and efficient. There is efficiency in the movement of the plants and in the happenings and performance in the mineral and plant kingdom. Added to these, nowadays, man congratulates himself at the efficiency of his scientific knowledge. The mathematical precision and the thoroughness of the inexorable natural instincts, though are found to be very efficient, this efficiency is not the main. It is not denied that there is efficiency of performance in machinery. In fact, there is efficiency everywhere in the working of the nature, which includes the happening in the mineral world, the performances of the plant kingdom, the intelligent incidents taking place at the animal level, and in the brilliant achievements in the field of man's activities. The happenings in the mineral world are strictly according to the incorrigible physical laws. The performances of the plant kingdom are ordered by the natural laws that regulate them. The animal kingdom acts and functions impelled by the impulses of self-preservation, and the rhythm of their actions is in the law of the survival of the fittest. It is in contrast to the efficiency that we notice in the mineral realm, in the plant kingdom, and in the animal kingdom that we propose to discuss the efficiency in man. As a biological creature, man too is governed by the physiological laws, and yet in him, because of his rational intellect, we find a certain degree of freedom to step up his efficiency into heights unbelievably glorious. Within the ambit of law, the rational intellect in man opens up to him so much of power for controlling, regulating, and detecting his natural faculties that he can develop in himself a greater efficiency. The glow of this efficiency is a secret power behind the stupendous achievements of man and his entire glory. While in the mineral, the plant, and the animal kingdom, they don't go about doing this. No dolphin thinks, or a whale, or a shark, or fish, in the ocean or in the river. Come on, let's have a race. Who's going to do better? I am going to work out. Huh? Look at the Olympic records for humans. Every time there is an Olympic, what are we planning to do? Break the record. Everyone is trying to improve. And they're finding different ways, all kinds of techniques and scientific equipment to promote their performance. Right? Nowhere else you will see. They are just compelled by their nature to be that. We have this capacity. In short, machines perform efficient. The plant kingdom lives efficient. The animal kingdom acts efficiently, but man alone strives for greater achievements through his cultivated efficiency. And hence, we can systematically try to understand the art of his efficiency. And art is possible only when the faculty can be cultured, improved upon, and re employed for expanding general happiness, not only in the artist himself, but in the entire generation around. The world of matter is utterly helpless and blindly bound by the physical laws. In the plant kingdom, there are the suffocating chains of environmental dictations. In the animal kingdom, there is no doubt a limited freedom, and yet they are mainly prompted by their instincts and impulses. In man alone, we detect the possibility of a mightier power with which he can explore himself easily into achievement and victories over the very forces of nature, over the environmental dictations, and even rise above the tyranny of his instincts and impulses. Herein lies the secret of efficiency, the secret of all great achievements by all master men of all times. Here, you take in, forget if you say, no, 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 we don't want to talk of the rishis, they are a different kind of people. The rishis have a lot of self control. They know how to control their mind, the intellect, and so they have a lot of energy also, which is never dissipated, available. They are awake, alert, and improved efficiency in themselves. This is cleanliness. But then what people say, we don't want to talk of spiritual people, as though they are very different. So I'm saying, forget about spiritual. Let's take any successful person in the world, in any other field. You want to take a cricketer, you want to take an actor, you want to take a singer, because this is very beautifully said here. And art is possible only when the faculty can be cultured, improved upon, and re employed for expanding general happiness. See, the bottom line is not happiness for the artist, but also for the community, the entire generation around it. Now, if there is one such musician, one such singer also, an artist who is a performing artist or a painter, take a Michelangelo, take a Lata Mangeshkar. You ask her about her sacrifices, she will have plenty to tell you. She had. There were many foods she would not eat even though she liked it. Because she wanted to improve upon, she wanted to sustain, maintain this voice which was capable of doing so much. It's a sacrifice. Without that, you cannot do. You can sing for 2 years maybe. And the third year, no, my voice is bad, because why? No discipline. Nobody admits that, but they say, this happened and that happened. Basically, they couldn't sustain this kind of rigorous discipline that is demanded. A great player, rigorous discipline. You have to give up on certain foods. You have to wake up at a particular time to do riyas, to practice. And a lot of effort it takes, isn't it? It doesn't happen. And then when you listen to them sing, you are also happy. They spread that happiness because they keep on working upon themselves. How better I can do for myself. That faculty, they are really working upon. So we have to look at excelling, find some talent and try and excel in it. Not only for yourself, with that excellent exposition, we also please the others. When you look at those paintings, when you look at the murals, you look at the ceilings of those churches, wow, what beauty. Who could have thought that somebody could paint like this? For generations to come, not only that generation, they have left a mark. And it is in this struggle, if you have spent a lifetime, that is beautiful. That is an evolving person. Don't always, say, because that's an evolving personality. This is required in life. We must encourage this. Efficiency is the freedom in us to step up willfully on our inherent abilities and capacities, which we exhibit in the fields of our actions. The efficient and the inefficient ones are ever there among those who strive in the numberless departments of human activity. And nowhere is the efficiency measured by the quantity of work done, nor is it estimated by the texture and quality of work turned out. In fact, efficiency of a man is found expressed in the dynamism of his action and in his cheerfulness in his work. In the glow of the very work turned out, we glimpse the efficiency of the work. In the ashram, there was one boy who was working in the kitchen. His job was to clean and serve. But he would do that so cheerfully, dedicated himself to that, and looked to excelling himself, doing better. And that page was seen on his face. Imagine. People have come to learn the scriptures, and you would see them, like they're carrying a big burden of all the Vedas on their shoulders and walking around. What is this? You smile at them. What is there to smile about? We have serious things, Brahman to think about, the truth to absorb. Don't be distracted. But you see the tej in that boy's face, all the time smiling and doing his job so well. I used to think he's far more spiritual than all those who have come here seeking that and seeming like a big burden they are carrying around. Why live like this? And if it's a burden, stop doing it. Be happy. Don't go around the world, this way. Like if you see the logo of that Century Mills, I shouldn't take these names. But if in Worli, if you go there, I don't know if the office is still there. There is a Century Mills, textile mills, and the logo or their representative was a man. He's on his knees and he's holding the whole atlas on his toe. The whole world is on his head. Maybe they wanted to say they are ruling the world or whatever. But like this, why are you burdening yourself with so much weight? Be like Nataraja. World under you, dance cheerfully. Your work should be like, isn't it? Every day, how are you? Okay. How are you? को जवाब भी ऐसा है. Then I wonder, why did I ask? Say good, happy, all of them. If I say, I was just thinking of you 100 years. God, 100 years, don't. Who wants to live that? Better we go early on. A big pain, stress. This life is so beautiful. If you have handled it well, I would say 100 साल क्यों बोल रहे 200 साल बोलो ना बोल ही रहे हो तो 200 साल बोल दो. We should look to live that much. We should look, because then you have the right understanding of life. Anyway, time is up and I thought we will just finish this. So we will just read this one paragraph. In the language of the rishis, the technique of efficiency is called yoga. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Dexterity in action is called yoga. Bhagavan Krishna's words these are in chapter 3. A person like Einstein is recognized as a genius in the West. But in yogic parlance, a genius is not born, but is the result of self-discipline, self-molding, and self-development. A genius evolves through a process, through a technique by which the source of dynamism latent in oneself is discovered, tapped, awakened, poured out, and utilized rightly, efficiently, and to the best of advantage and purposes. This involves 3 steps: generating dynamism, second, conserving the dynamism or energy so created, third, redirecting the energy into chosen fields of endeavor. Beautiful techniques given. It's not an empty philosophy. So we will look at these techniques. So why? Because we want to live our lives cheerfully, dynamically, be able to contribute. This is sattvic. And we are not going to talk about growing old. That is for the body. What does it matter? Absolutely nothing. It's all, if you live dynamically. Age is just one number, something that we count because we have created all this time. Every moment can be a happy expression of that life. And that's the way it should be. So we look at the 3 techniques the next class. We can conclude our class. Oh. Namadah Purnamidam Purnat Namudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shanti.